everyone. This is Serving Vuzuvaya. Life is good. Why is it good? Because I decided it was. True story. Alright. Because this is my universe. I'm waking up from the full moons. Had the most amazing Ho'oponopono last night. Really went to some beautiful places. And I'm very, very, very thankful again for Doria Cordova and the work that she does. And we're sharing for the whole community. And the pricelessness of peace. So let's talk about stuff. Stuff and things and stuff and things and things and stuff and the stuff that you'll do for things, right? The things that you'll do for stuff. Because really, this we live in a world of unbelievable abundance. This is just technical truth. We produce way more food than people can consume, and yet there are people hungry. There is way more than enough space. There are more than enough resources. Scarcity is a lie used to pit people against each other, to us and them us, and keep us from just sharing. The big purple guy said sharing is caring, and that dude was super right. Super right. And we say dinosaurs were, brutal and less. Dinosaurs were less than. I don't think so. Anywho. So today's a beautiful day, and I was thinking of, again, I was thinking of, as I go back and forth with these concepts and appreciation, as I've had some amazing coaching experiences, and I'm very thankful for them. I've also seen a lot of Ponzi scheme. In fact, the very first things I saw of the coaching world were absolute scams. And I mean, actually, that's not entirely true. In the 90s, I had a number of crossover clients, women, with a very, 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 very famously outspoken coach. In fact, the name that most people would think of when they think of coaching. Very gregarious, large, naturally handsome gentleman who had just torn to shreds women with abuse histories, as it was all their fault and there was something wrong with them for having post-traumatic stress disorder. And it just compounded their post-traumatic stress disorder in the most unbelievable, horrific ways. I had a number, I only had 4 or 5 of the clients that had lived through, survived Mr. Brides of Bobbins, and so at the time I was not freaking impressed. I had other clients, some of them rather famous, who really encouraged me and wanted me to go on tour and do speaking things, and I was funded to do that, and I had to step away because it didn't meet the standards of my being. And as I got older, there were times now I was like, okay, that was really stupid, Lauren. But then I really realized now, I like my standards. I like who I am. Prophecy Rock in Hopi Land. It is a really incredible place, and if you have the honor, you can find it on the internet now. It used to be like this mysterious thing that white people weren't supposed to know about because the consciousness was not broad scope enough that it was a trustworthy thing. Think of all the damage and sabotage that people have done to different sacred sites around the world, and you understand exactly why the Hopi had every right to be so protective. I remember once, I was invited to go, and the first time I heard about it, I was invited to go see it, and I didn't go. And then I actually tried to follow where they went. I was in Arizona, and I tried to follow them to meet them there, and I came across a Hopi person, and I said, where is Hopi Prophecy Rock? And they looked at me and they said, you're not supposed to know about that. And I was like, oh, interesting reaction. But again, now that all makes sense. So Prophecy Rock, the really, really, really important part, because it was interesting. And the concepts of ascension, for me, the concept of ascension is very much about being a responsible cell in the body of the planet. It's not about othering. It's not about disconnection or disassociation. In fact, it is the very opposite. It is about immersion. It is about immersion into the heart of the oneness that is all of us. And it is about raising our vibration where we can be part of that larger heart, because that larger heart has always been here. And it is just that we as a species have been super adolescent. And now we're stepping into a more mature understanding of the fact that we are actually not the center of the world, that other beings exist. And yes, other beings are us, and they are an extension of us, and we are all one, and we are the creator, and simultaneously we are one cell in trillions and trillions and trillions and infinite googly googles, infinite zeros of aspects of creation. So, balance, paradox, balance. So, the really key part of Hopi Rock is that there were those who just wanted more and more and more, and isolating and isolating, and they were rising and rising and rising, and then when it comes to the turning point of the rock, which is the now, according to the Hopis, they just disappear. Whereas the ones, the representatives, the people that bound together and took care of each other and took responsibility, they continue around the rock and they continue and keep going. So, greed will eat itself. Greed will eat itself. Once again, it's like with some, again, I've had some incredible and some terrible um, experiences with coaches in the last number of years. And the amazing ones, and one of the things that really concerns me, again, in the Ponzi scheme structure of things, here, I'm going to coach you into being a coach. It's like, how there's another way to do this. I've seen just some travesties of manipulations of people with very serious depression, mental illnesses, oppressive and abusive dynamics and systems that they were and relationships they were stuck in. Instead of being taught to liberate and honor and respect themselves and come to know who they are, put on yet another series of bravado, falling for a Ponzi scheme that you don't have to be you can be me. Do what I do, and just have. There is something to be said for, if you're walking on a cliff, there is a path that has been worn into the side of the cliff that is safer than just deciding to start crawling all over like a spider. And at that same time, there are many paths that are so worn that they are more slippery and dangerous. Yeah? Because they have been overused. So, today, what is the answer to this? It's like, again, the scariness. Someone was talking the other day as to how Donald Trump appears to represent, saving children from sexual abuse, and I'm like, that's certainly not my experience of Donald Trump. And it's amazing how it's marketing, that they take the things that actually exist, like the twin flame people. I really know nothing about them except that the concept of twin flame has been around all of my life that I know of. When my research in 1980, 1982 in library school books mentioned twin flames was one of the things absolutely that was talked about. And yet you have people taking these concepts, these important ancient concepts, like justice, like evolution, like enlightenment, and making them their own brand names and associating themselves with it. Again, instead of becoming themselves. So fuck the lies, fuck the bullshit. Do you. That is all there is. Be a responsible cell in the planet the way that you were meant to be. Not a Ponzi scheme, not an imitation, not follow, yes, follow in the footsteps of, and dance your own dance in your own rhythm and create your own path simultaneously. Because the most valuable thing that exists, and all that there is, all that we have, is our own love light. And your light is necessary. Your heart, your light, your rhythm, your song, your dance. Don't dance the dance of others. Sing your song. I love you and I'm with you and I know you're with me because I can hear the music that